Oh yeah! Okay, I won't do any more impressions. Hi everyone, WrestleQuest is finally out. When thinking of wrestling games, most of us will think of games in the fighting category, such as Fire Pro Wrestling or the more recent WWE 2K23. As far as I can remember, this is the first game to take a completely different take on wrestling game, by wrapping it up in a full-fledged turn-based RPG. A category usually more catered to adventure games such as Final Fantasy and Sea of Stars, to name a few. I suppose that is where the quest in WrestleQuest comes from. The story of the game is full of homages and references to the greats of wrestling, such as Jake the Snake and Andre the Giant. For all the wrestling fans out there, especially the slightly older ones, this will bring a lot of recognition and nostalgia, making the game a walk down memory lane. There are two main characters which you will take turns controlling. These turns are decided by the game itself and you can switch at will. The first main character you meet is Randy Santos, an homage to wrestling legend Randy Savage, followed by Brink Logan, an homage to another great wrestler, Bret Hart. Both of them are on a journey to reach the pinnacle of the wrestling in this gaming world. A world which is in actuality one huge toy box. Every character you encounter and you yourself are toys, which also sometimes feels a bit like a reference to Toy Story. While the story in WrestleQuest is not bad at all, it's not at the same level which you would expect a turn-based RPG to have. That being said, for fans of wrestling, this probably will not matter one bit. As said before, this is a turn-based RPG. During the fights you have the option of choosing either strike, a gimmick, an item or a taunt. A strike being the base attack move and a gimmick being the special wrestling moves available to your character. The different gimmicks also have synergy between the characters if chosen correctly, which can lead to impressive combos, reminiscent of Chrono Trigger. All of this ties into the game's so-called hype meter, a meter that shows how much hype the crowd has for your character during the fight. The hype meter will shift in favor of your opponent if you do not cater to the crowd by using taunts or by missing the follow-up attacks you get presented after a regular attack. Later on in the game, when you have figured out each character's way to increase hype, the meter will always be in your favor and will not present you with much of a challenge anymore. Besides the fighting, you will be adventuring in the overworld, which is made up of many diverse environments, all inhabited by interesting and sometimes hilarious characters, many of which will be recognizable as the greats of the bygone wrestling era. Walking around the world did feel a tad bit slow sometimes, and I found myself wishing the running would have been a bit faster. Trying to interact with objects in the world also seems to be a bit tricky, requiring you to be in an exact position for the item to light up for interaction, while another position only 2 pixels further would yield no result. Maybe this was just me, but if not, I hope it's improved in a later patch. The visuals in the game look very good and crisp. By going with the pixel art visuals, made popular during the SNES era of RPGs, the feeling of nostalgia increases even more. The environments are diverse and you will find yourself walking around in everything from grassy fields to frozen icescapes. The characters are well designed and most are instantly recognizable as the in real life wrestlers they represent. Couple this with well written dialogue full of hilarious banter and you will not get bored soon. The background music of the game is fine, nothing very memorable in my opinion, but it gets the job done for sure. What I would like to note about the visuals also is that they stylized the fighting menu, which I enjoyed very much. It's a nice break from the regular RPG style fighting menus that you usually see, so kudos to that. WrestleQuest is the most refreshing take on a wrestling game I have ever seen. Mega Cat Studios did a great job of developing a true RPG, but keeping the feel of a classic wrestling game intact. That being said, the game will not be equally appealing to everyone. For fans of wrestling and RPG games, this will be a delight to play. Especially if you've been following the whole wrestling scene for many years, you will absolutely enjoy all the references and anecdotes about the wrestling world. If, however, you are not a fan of wrestling and are just looking for a good RPG, I'm not sure if this will be your game. Don't get me wrong, it's a solid RPG, but if all the wrestling references would mean nothing to you, it might feel a bit boring at times. Nevertheless, I enjoyed the game and would recommend the game to all my fellow wrestling fans out there, especially the fans that love some of the classics. Thanks for watching. See you next time.